Get ready to embark on a fascinating journey. Today, we are going to dive into an ancient knowledge that has the power to completely transform your life. This wisdom has been passed down through the centuries by those who understood the true power of the mind and the spoken word. Many centuries ago, in a distant land, a man sought answers. He was neither a king nor a warrior, but someone who longed to understand the secrets of the universe. His name was Nicodemus, a scholar of ancient wisdom. Nicodemus traveled across unknown lands in search of what he called the hidden truth. He studied with the sages of Babylon, listened to the teachings of the ancient masters of Egypt, and walked through Jerusalem to uncover the secrets that the prophets had left for humanity. During his journey, he realized that there was a pattern in the teachings of the great masters. They all spoke of a fundamental principle. Words have the power to shape reality. Ancient texts stated that in the very beginning, when the world was still void, the Creator said, "Let there be light," and light came into existence. This meant that words were not just sounds, but acts of creation. Nicodemus found these same ideas in other traditions. In Egypt, priests spoke of the importance of words of power, uttered in temples to ensure order and harmony in the world. In Jerusalem, the masters of the Torah would often say that life and death are in the power of the tongue, emphasizing how words directly influence a person's destiny. But what did this mean in practice? How could someone use this knowledge to transform their own life? It was then that Nicodemus met a traveling master, a man who spoke with simplicity, but whose words carried profound power. This master taught him something that would forever change his perception of the world. He told him that to change his reality, he needed to start with 3 powerful affirmations. These affirmations were not just sentences, but decrees that, when repeated with intention and faith, had the power to rewrite one's own destiny. The first affirmation he learned was, "I am a channel for the Creator's abundance." The moment he heard this phrase for the first time, Nicodemus felt a slight unease. He had always believed that wealth and success depended on hard work, the right connections, and luck. However, this teaching proposed something entirely different, the idea that true abundance did not come from external sources, but from a direct connection to the primordial source of all creation. At first, he resisted this notion. How could a simple change in thought and words alter something as concrete as his material life? But as he reflected on the teachings of the ancient masters, he realized there was a logic behind this idea. If everything in the universe followed a flow, and that flow was directed by intentions, then it was not unreasonable to think that the way one perceived oneself and the world could determine their life experience. To test the concept, he began repeating the affirmation daily. "I am a channel for the Creator's abundance." He didn't just say the words mechanically, but tried to feel them as a deep truth. At first, his mind resisted. He found himself doubting, questioning whether he was merely deceiving himself. But he persisted. Over time, he noticed something subtle yet significant. He began to see opportunities where he had once only seen obstacles. Situations that seemed blocked started to unfold in unexpected ways. Small acts of generosity returned to him multiplied. His mind started opening up to the idea that abundance was already around him, merely waiting for him to recognize it. The second affirmation was even more impactful. "Abundance flows to me and through me." Nicodemus realized that wealth was not something to be hoarded selfishly, but a flow that needed to be kept in motion. He understood that those who clung to their possessions out of fear of losing them ended up shutting themselves off from new opportunities, whereas those who shared with confidence received even more in return. To put this principle into practice, he decided to adopt a new behavior. Instead of rigidly holding on to everything he had, he started offering small amounts to those in need, even when his own resources were scarce. He gave his time, his wisdom, and even simple gestures of generosity. That was when something extraordinary began to happen. He realized that the more he gave, the more he received. His mindset started to shift. It was then that he met an elderly merchant who had prospered for years in the trade of spices and fine fabrics. Noticing Nicodemus's generosity, the merchant confided in him something he had learned over a lifetime. Wealth does not belong to those who hoard it, but to those who set it in motion. Stagnant gold rots like still water, but that which flows like a river will always find new sources. Nicodemus realized that this was the true meaning of the second affirmation. The Creator not only provided abundance for him, but also intended for him to become a channel to distribute this energy to the world. But the third affirmation was the one that surprised him the most. No force can stop what is destined for me. This phrase made him reflect deeply. How many times had he felt that he was being held back by external forces? How often had he believed that he could not achieve his dreams because the world was not in his favor? But what if all these barriers were merely illusions created by his own mind? He began to repeat this affirmation with conviction, and something remarkable happened. His attitude changed. He started acting as if success were already guaranteed, as if the doors that once seemed closed were already being unlocked. He realized that many of the limitations he faced came from within beliefs he had carried without even noticing. Over time, Nicodemus began to notice that his confidence was growing. He became bolder in seeking opportunities, more persistent in facing challenges. And as a reflection of his new mindset, his reality began to change. At first, it seemed like just a meaningless exercise, but something inside him started to shift. He realized that his mind was clearer, his decisions were more aligned with his goals, and opportunities began to appear in unexpected ways. One day, while walking through the market of Jericho, he met a merchant who offered him a job opportunity. This man, a trader who had traveled across distant lands, saw something different in Nicodemus, a quiet confidence, a spark in his eyes, the look of someone who knew he was destined for something greater. The merchant told him, "I see a different energy in you, a certainty that I rarely find. I want you to work with me, because those who understand the value of abundance are the ones who truly prosper." At that moment, Nicodemus understood the true power of these affirmations. They were not just words, they were keys that unlocked a new reality. From that day forward, he dedicated himself to sharing this knowledge with everyone he met, teaching that abundance is not a privilege reserved for a few, but a right for all who open themselves to receive it. He finally understood. The words he spoke were shaping his reality. He was not merely waiting for things to happen. He was creating the life he desired, molding his destiny with his own declarations. The teachings of this master did not remain only with Nicodemus. They echoed through time, passed down from generation to generation, reaching us as a testament that the power of the mind and the spoken word remains one of the most powerful tools for transforming life. This wisdom was also used by other great masters throughout history. In the ancient records of Persia, we find accounts that Zoroaster taught his disciples the importance of visualizing the desired reality and speaking words of power. In the Far East, Taoist monks believed that the universe's vital energy responded to intentions expressed verbally. Even in Rome, where philosophy was highly valued, thinkers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius reflected on the impact of mindset on an individual's destiny. Marcus Aurelius himself, both emperor and philosopher, wrote that the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Nicodemus realized that the wisest figures in history had understood this fundamental truth. He decided to test this wisdom in different areas of life, not just in financial prosperity, but also in health, relationships, and life purpose. When he began declaring, "My body is healthy, strong, and full of energy," his health improved significantly. He felt that his own body was responding to what he believed. When he started saying, "I attract people who elevate my life and spirit," he noticed that he began surrounding himself with individuals who brought opportunities and inspiration. And by affirming every day, "I am on the right path and guided toward my purpose," he found himself in situations that led him to discover a greater calling than he had ever imagined. The secret was consistency. Repeating these words was not just a mental exercise, but an alignment with a universal force that responds to our intentions. As time passed, Nicodemus became a great teacher. People traveled from far and wide to hear him speak about this wisdom, and many reported miracles happening in their lives after putting this knowledge into practice. Among his disciples, a young man named Samuel asked, "Master, why do only some achieve results while others do not?" Nicodemus replied, "Because many speak, but they do not believe. Words have power, but only when they are accompanied by faith and action. And this is the great key to transforming your life. It is not enough to simply repeat words. You must feel them as absolute truth, act in alignment with them, and maintain this practice consistently. Now, the question remains, what have you been declaring about your own life? What do you say about yourself, your finances, your health, and your relationships? Have you been using words of power or words that block your progress? If you want to experience this transformation, start now. Grab a pen and paper and write down these affirmations. Repeat them every day with intention and confidence. And if this content resonated with you, and you want to keep learning how to transform your reality through awareness and spiritual practice, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any new videos with teachings that can change your life. Thank you so much for watching until the end. May your mind always be in harmony, and may your life reflect the peace and abundance you deserve. See you in the next video.